have exactly 58 minutes to film this video before boarding, so come on. The biggest lie that creative people tell themselves is that they need more time. And here I am walking through the airport, didn't have time to film a vlog, but I'm filming it now. A bias towards analysis or a bias towards action? How much time are you spending thinking about your idea versus starting your idea? And how much of that time is a waste of energy or procrastination because you either A, don't know how to start, or you don't know if it will be as good as you want it to be? The trick is that starting gets you where you want to go. And the best way to climb a mountain, you guessed it, one step at a time. And don't get me wrong, it's great to plan, it's good to plan, it's necessary to plan in ways, but are you stuck in the planning phase? I think one of the lies that we can tell ourselves is that by planning the thing we've started, and those I'm starting to realize are very separate things. A few years ago when I started my journey as a composer, I immediately jumped into a project for a documentary about the legendary basketball coach Eddie Sutton. I had no idea what I was doing. I'd worked a little bit before as a composer, writing music for a production company, but this was a whole new ballgame. It was a feature-length film. It was over 100 minutes, and I had never done something to this size. What was supposed to take 3 months ended up taking almost 16, and a lot of this was because I was learning as I went. It wasn't all my fault. We were still capturing part of the story. We got it done eventually, and it was awesome, and it got released on ESPN, and then Lionsgate has it, and you can see it on Amazon right now if you want to. It's pretty great, actually, especially if you like basketball. But the key point that I'm trying to make is, if I hadn't said yes, scared to do so, maybe I wouldn't be a composer even today. Though I consider myself less and less of a composer anymore, I consider myself a producer and songwriter and engineer. It's all the same. You have to show up to do the work. And if a deadline that somebody else has set for you is the driving force, then maybe you need to set the deadline for yourself. One of the key differences I started realizing in the creative endeavor was that I could think about the idea, but that would satiate my desire to do it in a way, and there was nothing that replaced the doing of the thing. And what's crazy is as I started getting into the studio with other artists and engineers and producers, I started to realize it was the people that simply showed up and did the work that got things done. All I'm trying to say is if you overthink every opportunity you can come across, including the things that you want to do for yourself, you're never going to be satisfied because you will have never started anything. And if you're wondering in this moment, how do I get from point A to point B? It's quite simple. You got to start at A. I could have spent months thinking about how to approach this score, but instead I didn't have time. I had to get to work. And this was of great benefit to me in hindsight. I built the plane in the sky, as they say, and it ended up working. This channel is a great example. This video is a great example. I've been talking about how I was going to start my YouTube channel and get videos rolling. I have shot, probably up to this point, 12 videos, and I've yet to release a single one. Why is that? I keep coming up with reasons why. I don't have enough time. I need to be in post. I gotta learn how to edit again. I gotta get this software. I gotta have this person help me color it. The reality is, the onus is always on you. And if you're waiting for somebody to come and help, you're probably up a creek already. But there's great news, which is you have the power and the capacity to do it yourself. You can learn, you can grow. And I personally believe that there's no better way to learn than to do. A bias toward action is the tendency to favor taking action over inaction, even if the action isn't fully informed or the best possible choice. While a bias toward analysis prioritizes thorough investigation and data before making a decision. I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus, including myself. There's so many schools of thought on this bias towards analysis versus a bias towards action, and it's highly dependent upon who you are and how you work. But my suggestion would be that if you can look at your process right now and take a look back, maybe even 6 months, are you still talking about a project that you started thinking about 6 months or more ago? Have you done anything to actually make it happen? Have you shown up to shoot? Have you gone beyond just the planning phase? If it's an album, are you showing up and actually starting the record? Have you started writing songs? If you can look back and say to yourself, I'm still thinking about it, it might be a great indicator that it's time to move to action.
360, welcome aboard.
That's me. I'm on my way to San Antonio for a video shoot that I'm doing production sound on, when I would rather be at home working towards my record, getting these ambient songs done, getting more bad graphic songs up and on the music bed and streaming for you all to hear. But here we are. I'm not mad about it. It is what it is, and I'm happy to be going to San Antonio and spending time with some buddies and shooting some really cool stuff. But this is the time that I have. I had an hour in the airport, and I thought instead of sitting around and people watching, I might just finally talk about starting. Maybe it's for my own good, maybe it's for yours too. If there's one thing I've learned about this entire creative endeavor and trying to get things done, it's that if you're a highly ambitious person and you have a lot going on, you have to take every moment as an opportunity. I'm looking at the myriad of ideas for this channel in particular. I have 17 plus ideas. I have over 40 podcast guests that I want to have on. I've had 0 on so far, 0. But what were some active steps that I took towards actually making this happen, this YouTube? For one, I'm shooting right now. For two, I bought a camera and everything that I needed to support the foundation to build the channel out. I wanted quality, but I wanted to be efficient. The last time I tried this, I had a camera, I had to sync audio, I had to do all of that stuff. It ended up being a pain, which is why I stopped. But I'm back, and I want to build a community, and I want to hear from you on what types of content you want to see. I have a lot of ideas. I'm going to show you interesting things about people doing incredibly cool things within the industry of music and creative in general, but this type of access was born out of like creating the channel and trying to make content, getting me into these scenarios where I could actually talk to people that were interesting and have a reason to and share it with the larger community. Because it interests me, and it's not necessarily that my life is the most interesting, but I can put myself in scenarios and situations around people that I find compelling, with compelling stories, doing compelling things. If these ideas didn't happen, then maybe this doesn't happen. If this stays here, this is meaningless. I don't think it's any secret. I have a bias towards action. Sometimes I get frustrated when I'm working with collaborators that have a bias towards analysis because I'm like, let's just do the thing. How can we find the happy medium? How can we find the bridge to come together and actually start not only thinking about things and coming up with great ideas, but also executing? Execution to me is the number one.
Why not?
So what is the thing that's holding you back? What's keeping you from starting your journey? Because if you don't start, you can't get to where it is you want to go. This is as simple as it gets. To wrap it up, mountains aren't climbed in a single leap. They're conquered by people willing to take the first step. And if you like what you see today, you can hit like. It goes a long way to help the channel, and you can hit subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for being here. This video, it isn't perfect, but it exists. I had 58 minutes, and I made the video. So, what are you doing with your 58 minutes? I've officially arrived at my destination. Hopefully you do too. Howdy.